Hey guys, welcome back to the Health Optimization podcast. Today's episode is something a little different and one I'm really excited to share. It's the live recording of my main stage talk from the Health Optimization Summit in Austin this April, where we reunited the tribe for an epic few days. Whether you were there or not, I wanted to get this on the podcast because it's packed with some of the biggest takeaways I've had recently around health, longevity, and the motivation to actually take action. Biohacking for me is optimizing your health. It is about being the best version of you. In this talk, I go deep on everything from HRV, glucose tracking, and stem cell therapy to gut health, detoxification, sleep, and the underrated power of human connection. Number one hack of this one thing you ever do on a daily basis. It's not just about the hacks, it's how you integrate them into your actual life. Everything I mentioned is linked in the show notes, and if you haven't already, check out my weekly newsletter. Just go to timbiohacker.co. It's where I share all the latest tools, experiments, and insights I'm using right now. And if you want to see the next live tour, we're doing it all over again in London on the 13th and 14th of September. It's going to be even bigger and better than ever and packed with game-changing info. Come and join the tribe for a weekend of powerful insights, cutting-edge health tools, and real connection with like-minded people just like you. We've got over 35 industry legends joining us, including Barbara O'Neill, Dr. Josh Axe, Dr. Von der Rai, Gary Brecker, and so many more. It's a weekend you will not forget. Grab your ticket now at hosummit.com/UK. That is hosummit.com/UK. All right, let's dive in. So today, it's a slightly different talk with some exciting and fun things in here with an overarching message. It's been a very, very interesting journey in biohacking for me. And the meetup in 2017 after going to the Bulletproof conference was my inspiration. And then I heard about PaleoFX in Austin, and it evolved from this tiny little idea of 50-ish people that turned up on a Sunday morning. Some of my best friends from that day are very close friends and part of this summit. And now in Austin, we have 2,600 people today, apparently, for our year one American event. How cool is that? I can't believe it. So I'm very, very grateful to every one of you for being here. London 2025 is 3,500 to 4,000 people expected, which is just mind-blowing. Why are we all here in a year one event? It's because, and I'm going to say it, we are bigger than just biohacking. Biohacking for me is optimizing your health, not about chip implants, not about all of these crazy changes to your body. It is about being the best version of you, using nature, science, and technology where relevant. And biohacking, I am forever grateful for it. I'm Tim Biohacker after all, and it's very hard to change that. But it was the spark. It was the spark that grew this space. And now we're the paleo revival for health optimization. We bring in the best of the health, fitness, medical, wellness, nutrition, biohacking, paleo, keto, longevity, functional medicine, the whole lot. We all have the same goal, right? Health optimization is about being the best version of you, being a healthy, happy human in the growth mindset. And as Dr. Ted Akikoso says from Health Optimization Medicine, the prescription for optimal health: eat well, sleep well, hydrate well, breathe well, move well, sun well, ground well, relate well, love well, vary well, and detox well. If you look at these things, it's all nature-based. Now, with the thousands of chemicals that we have every day in our lives, detoxing is a little bit more difficult than it used to be, which is why Quicksilver Scientific, who I was a fan of before I was in the biohacking space, helps you to detox properly. They are our title sponsor for a reason. I absolutely love Christopher Shade and Quicksilver Scientific. And this isn't a plug because they're title sponsor. I truly mean it. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, you know I only promote the things I use and love myself. But it is 80% of these things that you should be doing properly before you start using all the gadgets. 20% is the other stuff. And it is fun. 2011, and I was having fun in Bali. And then fast forward to 2020, this is when I was drinking lots and lots of butter coffee and eating not enough, but thinking I knew everything at the time.
through to 2025, which I'm very happy with. But really, the biggest lesson for me along this journey is don't do what a guru says. Do what works for you. Test out everything. Figure out what works for you. It's personalized, and this is where the space is really going, hyper-personalized. Do what works for you. If your guru is overweight and you're overweight and he loses weight, that's the right move for you to follow. So if you want to know your glycan age or your metabolic age or your immune age and see how you are doing, now bearing in mind you may be spending money on supplements or spending 5 hours a week doing yoga, but do you really know if it's working for you? You have to quantify it somehow. Now, some of us do it with an Aura ring or an Ultra Human ring. Who here tracks their health in some form? Okay, cool. About 40% of us. This is the one that I really recommend you do as the overarching how you're doing. Why is this thin British dude on this big American stage? I don't really enjoy being on stage too much, but it helps me spread the mission. Because when I got sick, I didn't know anything, and I had to go to forums to figure out what was going on. And this was before there were influencers telling you, avoid seed oils, this is bullshit. I really want to help as many of you be as healthy as you possibly can without going through the shit that I went through. That is my overall mission. And I do that by bringing together, let's be honest, it's a pretty amazing lineup, right? It's not by accident. Every single speaker here speaks to help the mission, not because they get paid. We do cover their travel sometimes, but they don't get paid. Why? Because they're helping the mission, because it's their mission. So we bring together these greatest minds and game changers together. And believe it or not, I don't do it alone. And how can you help? By coming to the show, by telling your friends, and starting your own little community in whatever town you are, even if it's 3 or 4 people, because it ends up like this. So I'm going to get into the optimizations, my favorite biohacks for the year. But I really wanted to share my mission and how it's going. And it's not for me, for my ego to go, oh, well done. It really is so that you can be on for the mission and do your own mission. Because you will remember a few brands, you'll remember a few talks, but you will remember every person you connected with this weekend, every friendship that you make for years to come. This is the most important message of the whole weekend. And as Gary Brecker said, the number one thing for the shortest life expectancy by 50% was loneliness. And during pandemic times, we all knew how that could become lonely. My point is, love each other, have fun, enjoy. It's so good for optimal health, for cellular health. So what do I do? Cellular health are like our engines. If you don't have good cellular health, your overall health isn't going to work properly. So build-up of damaged cells, rings, disease, and cancer. Mitochondrial dysfunction, for those of you who don't know, they're basically our cellular batteries. And if your cellular batteries aren't working properly, your energy won't be good. Cellular senescence, the senolytics from Qualia I really like because that helps eat up those zombie cells, which makes way for good cells. So the best way to optimize your energy is by optimizing your cells. So intermittent fasting, I do this pretty much every day. And being quite a thin dude, my appetite isn't massive anyway, so I sometimes forget to eat, and I call that intermittent fasting, so I'm very lucky. I've always avoided the gym because it's like, oh, I haven't got enough energy anyway, so why would I be using more of it lifting weights? And it's hard work for me to put on weight and muscle, but it's something I've adhered to, except for since this tennis elbow. My testosterone went up, my energy went up, my mental clarity went up, my libido went up. Everything changed just from working out twice a week, even though I'd be on the floor, almost passed out at the end of it. But I made it into the gym. We've got red light therapy on the floor. which charges our cells, which is why natural light is so good. But if you can't get into natural light, if you live in London where it's raining and cloudy and stuff, obviously red light therapy helps. Breath work, so Patrick McGowan, which I'll tell you the booth number in a while, for proper science-backed breath work. If you're not into your breath work yet, or you're jet lagged or knackered or brain fog, get in a hyperbaric chamber. Try it out. I've done it twice this week. I love it. Really love it. If you look into hyperbaric and how well it gets oxygen into our cells and what that does for our body, you'll be like, I gotta do this more. Breathe properly. It's very simple, really. Does it get more basic than breathing properly? We need to unlearn that which we've learned automatically to do it properly. I recommend you go and see Oxygen Advantage. Patrick McGowan is giving a talk this weekend. He is my favorite man of all when it comes to breath work. Science-based. What did I do? I chewed chewing gum pretty much from 2019 through to last year. All day, every day. It used to drive me mad, but I was determined to give myself a bit of a manly jaw. And develop the cheek area was nose breathing. I was a mouth breather. I couldn't even trampoline for 2 minutes without being like, now I can do a VO2 max test, run 15 minutes all out without having to use my mouth. By chance, it happens to develop your face. I would say this is a good result. Actually, I discussed this with Patrick when we were at an event somewhere or other, and he said, I can't believe this is amazing. I was like, this is a true before and after, so I'm very grateful for this. Also for cellular health, spermidine. I've been testing this on and off for quite some time. There's a whole load of brands out there. Most of them have fillers or binders or whatever. Oxford Healthspan, British company, very proud to know those guys. So if you're fasting and you take spermidine, and I take it at bed, that improves so many functions. If your nails are weak, if your hair falls out, it's also great. Again, I'm 46 this year, and I can't believe it when I'm sitting around a table with colleagues and friends, and I'm like, my God, I'm 20 years older than you guys. I honestly, I can't believe I'm this older dude, older. And that's why part of this talk is aimed at cellular health, because the smartest of you in your 20s would do this cellular health stuff long term, so you won't have to do it so hardcore in your 40s like me and Ben and the other older biohackers. Urolithin A, I really like, actually. Not everyone can produce it because of gut issues or diet or various other things. Turns out Timeline do a really good urolithin A supplement. Only 40% of people can convert it. Try it for a month. In fact, some of the keynote speakers, who I will not mention, say, I cannot travel without urolithin A. If I'm feeling knackered, I take urolithin A. I would say take it with some mineral water and some Baja salt drops. And that's not a plug. I just carry the stuff around because it's awesome. So MitoPure, actually, over at booth S13. Now, this is the senolytic I was talking about. So we have these zombie cells that build up and we don't clear them out properly as we age. If we clear out those zombie cells, guess what? There's room for good cells. I just nicked 6 of them. Should I do it 2 rounds of 6 every month? I just nicked 6 at the stand today because I forgot mine to bring them from the UK. But again, I feel like this is a plug after a plug after a plug. It's not. It's really the stuff that I use and recommend. Who here knows about nitric oxide? Turns out if you nose breathe opposed to mouth breathe, you have better levels of nitric oxide. Who would have guessed it? So I am recommending you do breath work and hold your breath and walk along while holding your breath, doing 10 paces and growing and doing more and more and more. However, if you want a shortcut in the meantime to have better blood flow and libido and energy, check out Barclay Life. They've got a really nice test that you put on your tongue, and if it's not pink, you're deficient in nitric oxide, which tells me you're being naughty boys and girls. You should breathe better. And then you can take one of their nitric oxide supplements, and hey presto, your levels will be up. I do both. Anyway, The point is, cellular health. You've got to get nutrients into the cell and toxins out of the cell. That's the basic thing, right? So if your cell membrane, which is the outer edge, is not good, nutrients aren't going to get in and toxins aren't going to come out. Now, I hate to say it, those evil seed oils are at fault, because if you eat seed oils, those fats help make up your cell membrane. And it turns out nutrients and toxins don't like moving through that as much. Olive oil, great. Tallow, great. All these other things are great, but that crappy seed oil stuff, and I know there may be some of you in the crowd going, there's no science in that. Bullshit. What I take pretty much, except for this trip, every day since 2016, no joke, no exaggeration, you can scroll down on my Instagram from like right at the beginning before I even was Tim Biohacker, Body Bio phospholipids, or PC for short. Phospholipids help make up our cell membrane, okay? That helps the nutrients get in and the toxins come out. It is, and I'm not saying this because they pay me, I don't have any sponsorship deal with them. PC, try it for a month and see how your energy changes just from this one supplement. You can see that I've been doing it since that day, honestly, because I've like shared this picture of a bottle and said, oh, here's all the cool stuff that PC does. Obviously, I travel a lot, and traveling is a big part of my life, career, and whatnot. So what does this do for our health? What impact does this have? Well, it's pretty obvious at this point. It's not good for us. Sitting in a plane that has low oxygen, high carbon dioxide, full of EMFs for 10 hours. Well, stress mitochondria, which we mentioned earlier on. People get headaches on flights, and they never understand it, and they just take headache tablets. In fact, there was a kid on the chair in front of me a few flights ago, and his mum was holding his head like this, and he was like, you could see he was in pain. I was just like, I so know he's dehydrated. So I pulled out a sachet of electrolytes and said, here you go. And they like looked at me as like, what's this guy giving us? Is he drugging us? I was like, just have this, please. Just drink some water and add this in. 20 minutes later, he's all right again, and mum stops massaging his head. Travel's bad, man, but we need it. It's a good convenience. Now, there's a stat here, which I find mind-blowing. 1 hour time zone shift when the clocks change, heart attacks increase by approximately 24%. How mental is that? 1 hour. What can we do about it? Pretty easy. So, start sleeping a little bit earlier or a little bit later, depending on your time zone. I try to do it half of the time zone difference. So when I went to Miami, I think it was 6 hours, 3 hours early, 3 hours late. Make sure you time it right before you leave and then before you leave. Turns out sunlight tells our body what time of day it is. Who would have guessed it? So if you wake up in your new time zone and you don't get sunlight, your body still thinks it's in the last time zone. And if you're then playing with your phone without your blue blocking glasses, one thing I've done on every flight I go on is measure the air quality and the EMF. And on the way over, there was a guy behind me and said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm measuring the air quality and carbon dioxide levels and the EMFs. He said, why? And I said, well, look at them, look at the stats. I said, why, you in the health space or something? He said, no, I work for Airbus. He's like, so what are you going to do with this data then? I suppose you're just going to damage the industry. I was like, yeah, pretty much. I'm going to speak about it on stage. He didn't speak to me again after that. Anyway, get grounded as quickly as you can. Also, it turns out when you stand in the grass with your shoes off, barefoot, gives you a flow of free electrons, which helps reduce inflammation and helps promote healing. If you haven't done that yet today, get your shoes off, get outside. If you want to turbocharge, use the human regenerator. It's a med bed. It's amazing. It's like hyper-grounding in like 20 minutes. It was my favorite biohack of 2023, and now it's come to America. Don't eat plain food unless you're flying first class, and then it's still questionable and a waste of money, so probably best take your own. When I travel, we have EMF protecting hoodies from Haven. Used to be called Get Lambs. That blocks it out. Actually, I did a demo that's going out on Instagram soon where I wrapped an EMF reader inside the hoodie in London on my balcony where it's... It works really well. So wear one of these flying. Also wear blue blocking glasses. We have RAR optics and we have filter optics on the floor. Filter optics are the ones I am wearing today. I have them as prescription lenses. They are fantastic. I wear them 3 hours before bed most of the time. If I don't, then I notice it in my sleep score. I can't remember who it was that was telling me yesterday. Someone told me yesterday, oh yeah, we gave my mum some red blue blockers. And then she just fell asleep on the chair and she said, oh, they're just too good. And they weren't then. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I've already talked about this today, so I won't go back into it, but it's like a cellular boost. It really, I built actually my hyperbaric oxygen clinic that I had in London from inside a hyperbaric oxygen chamber because my brain is just like, bing. It's really good. If you haven't tried it, try it. OxyHealth, I've been using it since 2015. It's fantastic. I haven't got a blue tongue today. Methylene blue. Methylene blue is one of the first pharmaceuticals ever made. It can't be patented, so it's not big with the pharma world. Usual story. Turns out it donates an electron to the electron transport chain, and it helps us utilize oxygen better. Now, I've been using it for a while because I love the biohacker viral effect of having a blue tongue, and people go, oh, what's that mean? One day I went swimming, and I like swimming underwater in my pool, and like today is like, I can swim like more lengths. It's like, that's weird. Like significantly more. Anyway, I didn't think much of it. And the next day, I couldn't. It's like, it's really weird. And then I remembered, when I went for a pee after my swim, not in the pool, obviously, it was green. Methylene blue turns your pee green because it's so blue, right? So I tried it again. And sure enough, I could swim significantly further underwater again. It helped oxygenate me. And this is why RFK was seen on a flight using methylene blue recently. How cool is that? Now, as I said earlier on, politics to one side for a second. Things like methylene blue or raw milk or whatever going mainstream in America, it's bloody amazing. Because this is the stuff that biohackers do, making it mainstream. Also, as Gary Brecker mentioned earlier on, big fan of hydrogen water, and we have Tyler LeBaron and Alex here speaking on hydrogen and why it's so amazing for health. But Gary did something actually at CryoCon where he spoke last week, and he showed how water measured as a pro-oxidant before it had hydrogen added. And then he reread it afterwards in real time on stage, and it showed how it became an antioxidant. From bottled water, it was really bad, to really good. I take it with me traveling, and in fact, this new flask that Echo brought out, I carry it with me everywhere. Everyone says, this is a really cool flask. They don't know how cool it actually is because they don't realize what it does. Gary also has a brand of hydrogen tablets, and Drink HRW are at P2. So you can get tablets and use one a day, or you can have a bottle and use it forever. Detox properly, as I mentioned earlier on. So depending on your DNA or your methylation status, you may or may not produce enough glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. Some people can live to, how many times have I heard this on Instagram? Well, my grandma smoked 120 cigarettes a day, and she lived to 125. It's like, the amount of times I've heard this type of thing is insane. Maybe she had good glutathione status. Maybe she had good genetics. Who knows? I wish it was the same for my grandma. You can do something about that. Glutathione, liposomal, Quicksilver Scientific do it. Ultra binder, which has charcoal. IMD, which is an intestinal binder. Vitamin C, and melatonin, which helps us sleep, but also helps us detoxify. Some of the other things to do, surgery and injury recovery. So I had a pretty complicated lateral sinus lift jaw surgery last year. It was brutal. But what did I do to heal it? Sleep comes first. If you're not sleeping enough, you're not healing enough. You're not repairing enough. You're not optimal. Number one hack, if there's one thing you ever do on a daily basis, sleep properly. Respect your sleep. Don't do it to tick a box. Do it because you know it is the most important thing for your longevity. You can spend a whole weekend at this conference and you can take 100 different supplements and loads of different technologies, but if you're not sleeping properly, you're kind of wasting your time. There's various things we can do about the sleep, but I won't touch on that right now. Get grounding, hot bath with magnesium salts, infrared sauna I'm a big fan of, and eat lots of protein. Lots of protein. None of this processed crap. And then you get sleep, 90. I mean, 1 month I was averaging 92, I think it was, which is crazy. Not 100 like Brian Johnson, because I do actually have a life and like actually interacting with the world and not just sleeping in a sleep chamber with no one around me. No offense, Brian, but if that's what you want to do, go for it, man. Red light therapy. So the Nova Thor, it's a fantastic bed. I've used it in several countries now. It really boosts you on a mitochondrial level. People jump out of it feeling amazing. I'm a very, very big fan. In fact, when I had my jaw surgery, James Carroll, the founder of Thor, came to me and gave me a device with a thing called the lollipop. If you're feeling a little bit tired because you've been traveling, go and ask them nicely if you can have a session. We've also got the human regenerator that I touched on. Get your shoes off. 20 minutes a day. Stand in the grass. Hang out the washing, whatever it may be, without your shoes on. It's like, this is so good for your health. You will see your heart rate variability shoot up, your deep sleep shoot up, your stress levels come down almost immediately. Like in tests, in studies of grounding, when you see cortisol levels that are spiking, after 20 minutes of grounding, your cortisol levels come back to baseline. If you're having a panic attack, get grounding. The free electrons helps calm you down, like this. If your cortisol is low, grounding brings it back to baseline. Like, guys, I don't feel like I want to lecture you here or anything, but shoes off, in the grass. You can also use the human regenerator to fill that deficiency pretty damn quickly. One thing that I saw Ben Greenfield doing before I was using them was injecting peptides. And I was like, Ben, dude, like, how can you do that? I got pretty used to it. However, you don't have to now. Peptides, you can now get them in capsule format. And these guys are from Australia. They've flown over especially. My favorite is BPC 157 and TB 500. It's like, heal like Wolverine. In fact, they brought one out called the Wolverine treatment now. It helps your body heal. Peptides are, let's say, amino acids chained together that the liver would actually do itself. They are natural processes to heal our body or do different things. Various peptides do different things. BPC 157 and TB 500 are ones to help you heal faster. The 157, taken as a supplement, helps fix your gut lining pretty damn rapidly. So this is something I take it pretty much every day, especially after the stem cell therapy for my very first world problem, tennis elbow. My stem cell therapy treatment. Yesterday I had stem cell therapy. Yay! I got tennis elbow from playing tennis, which is very retro. And I told Harry Adelson, Dr. Harry Adelson, he said, come to Humanaut. Said, because we're doing ultrasound, we inject some peptides in. I mean, I love those guys. Do you know what my favorite part of the whole thing was? The laughing gas. It was so good. Apparently, when I was high, I said, can I get some to go? Anyway, I have no recollection of pretty much anything other than a high-pitched noise in my ear as the needle went in. So I could hear my nervous system. That's how high I was. So I'm very grateful for that experience. So they are in Austin. They will be rolling out across the country. Harry Alderson is the full-body stem cell, known for the full-body stem cell treatment that Ben and Dave and various other leading people have done. So thank you very much, Dr. Harry Adelson and Jim Donnelly and the crew over at Humanaut. I'm very grateful for my healing elbow. London, where it all started. London Health Optimisation Summit, 13th to 14th of September 2025. There'll be 3,500 to 4,000 of us there. So if you want to trip across the pond and want to jump on the Eurostar and go to Paris, come along. So, have we got the microphone for the questions? For the giveaway? Isabel? Okay, cool. So, who has a question? Oh, first hand I see down here, please.
Hi.
Hello.
what is a common mainstream health belief that you think will be obsolete 5 to 10 years from now?
Good question. That we need Ozempic. I mean, we produce our own if we eat paleo style. And we'll be hearing from Mark Sissons shortly, I'm pretty sure. I think seed oils is mainstream. I mean, it's normal for us lot to know that seed oils are not good for us. But I think it will become mainstream, especially with the whole Maha movement and RFK shouting loudly. Next question.
Hello. I specifically have a question about melatonin. I have heard before that it can be negative to take it every day. And then I saw your travel slide. It said take it 2 to 3 days. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Good question. I took it every day for 6 months. And then one day I decided I'm not going to take it anymore. I slept fine. I think maybe it's because I think it's more of an individual thing. It does upregulate detoxification for us. So for some people, you wake with a migraine, for instance. I do, if I use it 3 or 4 days in a row now, I wake with a headache. It's doing too much. If I add in the Quicksilver Scientific Ultra Binder, like half an hour after the melatonin, I don't wake with a headache. I think because it binds the toxins in the gut. I don't think there's any problem long-term personally for myself. But with anything, the word supplement is to supplement, not to always do something. So I think it's very individual. I don't think it has a problem for me personally, but I generally do most things to make sure my sleep is on point.
Thanks. I was taking it daily and was getting the best sleep in my life and then stopped, and my sleep has not been the same since.
I would wonder whether or not you have your full proper sleep routine down or if you're hoping for the shortcut, would be my question.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2 more questions. Oh, over in the blue hoodie over there.
If you hit rewind to the start of your healing journey and you only got to pick one thing that you've learned to implement, what would that one thing be?
I'm going to give you a clue. Hydrate better. Because it turns out that helps your detoxification, energy production, mental clarity, the lot. That will then help you sleep better. For instance, if you hydrate better before bed and add minerals to it, you will sleep better. So therefore, better hydration leads to better sleep. It was a close call between blue block and glasses. And I have said for many years, if there's one biohack that I did on the assumption I wasn't on a desert island and there was fake light, then blue blockers would be my number one. However, 25-year-old Tim would be drinking proper water. Okay, one last question.
First of all, thank you. Second, how do you entice a newbie to this way of thinking?
This. And when I say this, I mean, it's about motivation. It's the gun to the head. It's the only reason why I got into the health space, because I got sick. You know, what's the expression? A man that has everything wants more, but a sick person only wants one thing. That's the motivation. You know, you've got to find what motivates them to be healthier. If they need it, they might not. And it's very easy to get people to suck them into your world, to say, I really want this for you, but they've got to want it themselves, and that comes to motivation. You know, I'm not going to point my finger at my brother. I wouldn't dare do this, but the amount of things that I've told him that he didn't want to integrate, he does eventually. I wouldn't dare put him on the spot. But he finds his way there when the motivation is right. And I see the same with my mother and stepfather as well. It's really just, you can take a horse to water, but they've got to feel motivated to drink. I hope that answers your question.
You've been listening to the Health Optimization Podcast, and I'm Tim Gray. If you've enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe for more. Remember, if you want to learn how to take control of your health and you're sick of traditional healthcare and temporary fixes, you should come to the Health Optimization Summit. It's going to be even bigger and better than ever and packed with game-changing info. We've got over 35 industry legends joining us, including Barbara O'Neill, Dr. Josh Axe, Dr. Von der Wright, Gary Brecker, and so many more. It's a weekend you will not forget. Grab your ticket now at hosummit.com/UK. See you next time, and remember, let's spread the health.